Hi, got put a piece of here. Let's go down to earth. Okay, what is a soul and a spirit? We have to go back 5,000 years. The concept is very ancient. The soul and the spirit is actually air. Is the atmosphere. Air in our lungs. That's what spirit is. The spirit world is nothing but the atmosphere. That's where the birds and insects and other things fly, and the clouds are. And
anyone with a healthy mind and that wants to do some inquiry, he can go back 5,000 years into the past and look at the ancient text. And you'll see that the soul is nothing but air in our lungs. And that's what the Egyptians believe. It's right there. I mean, the original texts are right there. Everything else is bullshit. And if you don't, accept what everybody tells you, don't believe it, just look for yourself, you'll see it.
And that's the reason in the you see many of the gods that live in the spirit world, and they are all personified. Everything's personified. But you see that they cover themselves. They always have the spirit world floating around above their heads. And that's the reason you have a lot of the religious putting things in their heads like this.
Today is the 5th of July. And man, we're having a dust storm. But this is amazing. Look at this stuff. Look at this dust storm. You can hardly see anything. This is nature at its best. Dust storm. Just got full piece. In the ancient world, this will be seen as something from the gods. But we know it's just simple dust, all stirred up by storms and the wind. All religious beliefs, without exception, believe in a soul, believe in the spirit, believe in the spirit world, believe in life after death, believe in gods above and demons and all that. The air was invisible, and therefore this force was seen as the spirit world. When we breathe the souls, and spiritus means pneuma. In ancient times, cover your head. This is the spirit world. The air, the atmosphere, that's the spirit. You cover your head, you trap it. That's the reason a lot of these sculptures are represented with that. And then, of course, you have the penis on your head, the shape of a penis, the hat that covers your head. And you have tassels. All these float in the air. They're sacred. That's the reason you have flags and all that in ancient times. Everything was with the little tassels here. They're everywhere. But that's what they represent, the spirit world. Notice the ribbons on the crowns of Akhenaten and Nefertiti, and the rays of the sun equivalent to the penis, and also the hats of the gods and the helmets, they're all related. The Roman gods and goddesses, in this case Neptune, they cover their heads with veils. They're trapping the spirit world. Pigeons were the sacred birds of Venus, or Maya, or the Virgin Mary, the mother of the God and Christus. And here I am receiving the Holy Spirit. It perhaps is going to shed on my head.
Worship is also prohibited. All
religious beliefs are a psychopathy that accept bizarre metamagic beliefs as reality. In the ancient world, it was customary, in case of a problem, to actually send a messenger to God. He would be sacrificed voluntarily, and then his soul will go into the spirit world to see God and ask for protection. In this case were the Parthians, trying to fight the Roman legions. And that is religion for you.
We began knowledge, taking knowledge, and we learned the language of our parents during the imprinting period, and we start learning and trying to differentiate between fantasy and reality when we're young. So when we grow up and we are educated and still believe in God, something is wrong with our brains. We are theotards. That's a really great problem. This is what happened to Dr. Naik. My brain, for instance, I can invent a language right now. Right now I want to invent a language. It sounds oriental, okay? Sounds. It's an invention. I make it sound like anything I want. So it's all in there. We create God with the brain. Take a little peyote and you even write a Bible or any sacred book. That's what people don't realize. We are in the 21st century, not the 14th or the 4th. So people better deal with that. Religious theotards, they belong in mental institutions. They suffer from this schizophrenia type disorder, phase psychosis. Anyway, this guy named Muhammad, okay, and he married the daughter of a merchant, which was an older lady, much older than him. But anyway, he suffered from epileptics, from problems. He was illiterate, went to the cave of Hira, okay, in this cave, and he was sick. I wonder why. You know, when people eat mushrooms or drugs, they get sick, and they have all these visions. Well, they didn't know neurology in those days. Okay, the people were very retarded in those days. They believe in God and nonsense. But anyway, he went to this cave, and guess what happened in the cave? An angel appeared. The ubiquitous angel Gabriel. It's the same angel that announced to the Virgin Mary that she was pregnant with Jesus. It's the same angel that goes everywhere and appears to all the saints. The same, I mean, he's ubiquitous everywhere, Gabriel. Well, he came around and he actually dictated the Quran and all that to this illiterate man named Muhammad. And he was sick. And then he came out, he has convulsions. Every time he has convulsions, and he says, well, this is the truth, and this is God, and we must obey, and all that. And they have all these demons called the jinn. It's like Satan with angels.
Here in the desert of Arizona, these are datura flowers. It's called Devil's Trumpet. You want to see God and write a Bible? Munch one of these. Get your preparation. You'll be writing a lot of Bibles and Qurans and Talmuds and all kind of sacred books. As a matter of fact, even the smell of it is kind of affect your brain a little bit. Hold on. Yes, there it is. Datura, Devil's Trumpet. Have one, and you'll see God. Guaranteed.
And this is very obvious right here. You see it like the devil's trumpet. Now, these were used in Sacraments, hallucinogenic materials. And you see this part here, almost very similar to the blue lotus used in Egypt, and which is very highly hallucinogenic. Well, they have to. You have those substances to be able to, as sacraments, to be able to eat them, and then it works on the brain, and you start seeing God and spirits and all that.
You will see the picture and the epigraphy and all these hallucinogenic flowers all over the world, in all monuments and everything. If you know where to look, you will see them. And they were considered in ancient times sacred because they created religion. You could see God and get stimulated. Here in all the mosaics, you can see them in the Roman mosaics, in the Roman Senate house. They are very obvious if you know where to look. And here, Amanita muscaria mushroom in mosaics. All these religions were created this way in ancient times. Today, we know that religion, if you start believing in God, you have a problem with the brain. You have a malfunction. Or you're under drugs. And you see the Augustus over here with a poppy on his scepter. And of course, this is very obvious. But that's where religions come from. There is no excuse today in this 21st century to believe in God and crazy things like that. Here is the angel Gabriel giving the Virgin Mary datura flowers. It is very obvious. Here another representation of datura flowers. And there are many, many entheogens. In India, you see there are a lot of them in India, and people don't realize what they are. And even in a pruta is a coin from Judea, also with that. And this is blue lotus, very hallucinogenic.
You're reborn, you have to have these sexual activities that goes before any birth, birth or rebirth.
Because the world was created by an act of masturbation.
Symbols that we see on the temple walls are also present on the Turin erotic papyrus.
The key word here is the lotus flower. The lotus flower is a symbol of resurrection. Probably had narcotic properties, so it's not without reason that they're sniffing these lotus flowers.
Exactly. Hallucinogenic material.
There are also other similarities between the codes here and our mysterious papyrus.
There is evidence all the religions were created by the ingestions of entheogens, and of course affecting the brain. And there you see God and you see everything. But it's all in the brain, beliefs are in the brain. All the Abrahamic religions were created.
All come from the Roman religion, but the people are so stupid because they are so-called scholars, like Dr. Naik, they look at things in one way. I suggested Dr. Naik to take some little anadarantera or datura flowers, and his religion will be more vivid. He actually see the visions, talking tongues, like the Pythia, the Greek Pythia, the Greek prophets that they took all these drugs and predicted the future, 2,000 years ago. But anyway, is that true? And do you know what happened to Gabriel with Muhammad? You know what he did? He told Muhammad, says, "Oh, I want to show you heaven." So he gave him a horse, a flying horse, like in the Greek mythology, the Pegasus, okay, or Pegasus. So he took him in a tour of heaven to Muhammad. He went around and showed him all the heaven and everything. And he departed from where? From Mount Moriah in Jerusalem, from the top of the mountain. And that's when he went around and showed heaven. And then he returned, he went back, and he said, "Oh, guess what? I saw heaven, and it's true, and it's full of gold and all that stuff." So that's the Islamic religion. You believing all that garbage to be true. That's not 2 + 2 = 4. That's 2 + 2 = anything but 4. So people that are religious, that believe in so many gods and so many religions, they have a problem with the brain. So they are just exactly the same like schizophrenics. Religious belief on educated people is a psychosis. It's a neurological disorder that impedes people to see the facts and to distinguish between fact and reality. So I suggest to Dr. Naik to go see a neurologist. That's the reality of it all. We are born atheist, means lacking belief. And that is a fact. I can take Dr. Naik's brain and manipulate his brain, and guess what's happening? He's going to change his ideas and his views. And lobotomy cures belief in God, which is a psychosis. Pace de oro. The truth is very, very hard to accept. But if the shoe fits, they ought to wear it. Religious people belong in mental institutions.